All right. So we show what happens in abort. Main difference is it's not going to make sure the changes are permanent, and immediate makes sure that the changes is permanent. In transactional, what happens is it just makes sure all the transactions which are currently running in the database, say you are transferring the money or somebody is trying to pay some bills or those, all those transactions, if somebody tries to shut down transactional on a Bank of America database,
Mhm.
then the shutdown command is going to wait until each and every transaction is complete. But the catch over here is it does not uh, wait until current sessions end, and it does not obviously it will not permit new user connections. So transactions, if you are say paying a bill and suddenly you forgot how much to pay and you are trying to search for a bill or doing something, so that transaction at in Bank of America is still waiting. So there might be thousands of hundred thousands of people using that website at that point of time. You cannot really wait for everybody to finish up their transaction,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So the wait time is too high in transactional. When it comes to normal, it is going to do the same thing. It's going to wait for the current transactions to finish, and it is going to wait for the current sessions. Whoever is logged on into the Bank of America website, it is going to just wait and wait until everybody logs out of the website, and then it is going to let you shut down the database. That is what is going to happen in normal. So when you are hitting a issue, um, when you are hitting a issue at a database level, you do not have so much time to do the shutdown normal or shutdown transactional. You do shutdown immediate, you fix your issues and start up and just leave the database for access to the application team, right?
Okay.
And stay away from abort. It's going to mess up the database. So safest option is shutdown immediate. It's faster. It makes sure changes are applied, and that is minimal required for a DBA.
Okay. So we use immediate, but will there be other people who will use other like about and these things? I mean,
No, only DBA will be able to shut down the database, nobody
okay.
else. So it's only you, and you will only use immediate.
Then why they give all these other options? Like if we are
Yeah,
not.
see, sometime say in a testing database, not a production database, in a UAT database, there is some testing going on, and we say like we the DBAs, we found there is some issue, and we try to reach out to the testing team, and we say, oh, guys, we have some issue, we need to restart the database, or else the database will crash. So at that point, testing team will say, "Oh, we have something important testing going on. Can you wait until that finishes?" Then we'll say, "Okay, that's fine." And what we'll do is we'll do shutdown normal. So when we do shutdown normal, all their work will it will wait until all their work completes. And once their work is complete, all the sessions are closed. Then it will automatically shut down the database. So in those cases, normal transactionals will be useful.
Mhm.
In normal cases, it's immediate.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so first, what we will do is we will first look at the database part of the database world. So we have here something called as data files, control files, online redo log files, archive redo log files, flashback logs, and everything. So first, we will take a look at these in the chapter called as logical structures. So when I say database logical structures, logical means it's not physically present, but it is kind of you can use those structures, but you cannot really see at the storage level. So that is what is the logical structures. So let us see what are these logical structures in the database. So there are two structures, like I told you, physical and logical. At the physical level, we have something called as a data file that is visible. If you want to see a data file, it would be something like this. It is just a file, okay, nothing great. You will slowly get the hold of where to go, what to do. Don't worry about it. I am experienced, so I'm just cruising through this. City app. So these files log 001, 002, 003 are called your redo log files. We will see what those stores later on. Sorry. Change directory into Oracle folder, then Aura data folder will have the data files. Okay, you see this sysocs.dbf, system01.dbf, temp01.dbf, undo tbs01.dbf, user01.dbf. All these files which end with dbf are database files. In my system, I have let it name it has a dbf, but few companies they need not put the .dbf. They can just put some other extension that is allowed, but by default it takes the dbf extension. So all the files which you see here, dbf, those are data files. These are copies of redo log, like we saw here, log 001. Same with these are multiple, we can have multiple copies of this redo logs. We'll see that later what exactly these have. And this is a control file, which is kind of very important file of the database. So this is where when I say database storage, this is what the location I'm talking about, right? This is where everything is dumped into. All right, so in this we have this is basically physical file. When I say we can see it, we can really go to that location and see there is a file called as sysocs.dbf. I can check the size of that file and open that file. So size of this file is 471 MB, this dbf file. There is nothing in this database, just a plain installation, but this has 471 MB because this sysocs.dbf data file has information about the database. We'll see what all is information later on. So this is the physical data file. Then we have logical structures which are called as a Oracle data block, extent, a segment, and a table space. In your day-to-day DBA life, most of the times you will be talking at the data file level, table space level, and a few times at the block level. These are probably 90% of the times you will be talking about this. These three would be the remaining 10% of time. Some days you might not even think about what is a segment or what is a extent, right? So physical, logical, again, interview question, what is physical? What are the physical structures of a database? What are logical structures of the database? So try to remember this one. Data file is the only physical structure of the database. OS block belongs to the operating system. It is at the operating system. See, everything in this digital world, right? Everything is stored in terms of zeros and ones. All the zeros and ones are put into one small box in the storage level, which is called as a block. That is the lowest level we can go. Like in your watch, the lowest time duration you can go is 1 second. Similarly, in this server level, the lowest uh, storage structure you can have is called as a block, whereas in a database, the lowest storage structure you can have is a data block, right? So what is a data block? Oracle data block is the finest level granularity where the data can be stored. All your data which you put, like if you created a table called as employees, you connected to the database, you said create a table, you created a table, and then you said insert data into the table. All the data, where did it go? It went into this block level. So blocks are uh, uh, theoretically this is described like this, the block. So a block has something called as a header, and then a table directory, and then space to store the data in it. So data block will have information about the block, like how much of space is available, how much of space is occupied. Say for example, if I say the data block can be of various sizes, from 2 kilobyte to 32 kilobyte or 64 kilobyte, any sizes. So let's say I have a 2 kilobyte data block. All right, and this 2 kilobyte, and every box over here is okay, let's put 1 KB. Let's make this 4 kilobyte just for example, so that 1 kilobyte, 1 kilobyte. Okay, so your block size which you selected is 4 kilobyte. Okay, you told database, okay, the block sizes which you will create would be of 4 kilobytes. So what the database is going to do internally is it will check what is the OS block size. Its OS block size is 1 kilobyte. It is going to select 4 of these blocks, and it is going to assign that block to database and call this one block has one database block. So OS block is 1 kilobyte, but database level we said you create a block of 4 kilobyte. All it is going to do is it's collecting 4 blocks and giving that one has one block to the database. Now in this 4 kilobytes, you can store 4 kilobytes of data. When I say store 4 kilobytes of data, it is same as you storing some file into a hard disk or your pen drive. Same thing, nothing different. The storage, it is just the database is kind of monitoring those blocks and making sure the data goes into that block in some format which database software can understand. Okay, so I say I store 1 kilobyte of information in this 4 kilobyte of block in this yellow block. So right now I have used only it is nothing but 25% of that 4 kilobyte, right? 1 kilobyte is 25% of 4 kilobyte, so 75% is free. So this information that in this block only 25% of data exists and 75% of the space is there to store the data. That kind of information goes into the block header. Okay, and then what all in this 1 kilobyte of space which is used, let me try to change this color. Okay, say red is how much space is used up. So out of this 1 kilobyte, which tables data exist in this 1 kilobyte? Is it for employee tables or department tables or transportation tables? What table data is put into this 1 kilobyte? You can have data from one table, you can have data from many tables, that does not matter. So what all tables data exist in this 1 kilobyte, that information is put into the table directory part of it, and then row directories is where the actual data is stored. So in this example, your OS system block is 1 KB and database block size we gave 8 KB. So it is going to make a bunch of 8 blocks and assign it to database, telling that you can use this one as one block for your purpose, right? So data block, to put in simple language, it is the lowest structure in database hierarchy where data will be stored. Any questions on the data block? Are you guys confused?
So this data block will store the log files also, like whatever the log files is required.
See, every file over here, whatever we saw, where was that? Here, right? Yeah, whatever files are here, every file has some blocks associated with that one, right? So this one data file will have okay, let me show you this screen that will, yeah. So this is your database at a high level storage hierarchy, how it goes. So we have blocks, a bunch of blocks create an extent, a bunch of extents create segment, bunch of segments creates table space, and bunch of table spaces create database. So where is data file in this one? Data file is a physical structure. Here we are looking at the logical structures, right? So if you ask if log file also has the blocks, yes, log file also has blocks. It might have blocks, database blocks, or it might have OS blocks, depending on what kind of log file it is. Okay, so the data blocks we saw where it stores the data. Then we have for database to make it simpler to narrow down the information or to pass on the information, it groups the blocks into something called as extents, and then extents are grouped into segments, and segments are grouped and assigned to the table space. In table spaces, we have different types of table spaces. We'll see that in the table spaces class, and that is how the hierarchy goes. Again, like I told you, table spaces would be the topmost level, which you will talk about in day-to-day life. And this is how the hierarchy goes. Blocks are grouped into extents. Here, if you have 32k extents and each block is 8k, so 8 times 4 is 32, so you'll have 4 blocks making one extent, right? Then group of extents make segments. Depending on the size of the segment is defined, the number of extents will be selected. Like I said, there are different types of table spaces: permanent, temporary, read write, read only. All those things we will take a look when we go to the table spaces chapter, which is in detail. And then we have online, offline table spaces also. So we will take a look at these in those classes. I just put here so that I can give an idea of what it is. So that is about the logical structures of the database. Any questions? All you need to know important in this one is what is a data block, what is a table space, and what are the different kinds of table space available. But you can skip the table space part. What is a block and what is extent, segments, and table spaces? That is the important part here. Any questions on that? Let me know if you're not clear with it. I can try to explain you in a different way.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so we can stop at this point. We will look at the memory architecture in the next class. So, so far we covered what is a database and what are the logical structures. I will send you this I can send you this presentation also. You can take a look, and I'll send you the recording. So you can review it and ask me questions if you have anything in next class.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we'll stop today's class over here.